What's up, everybody, and welcome to Podcasting with Power. I'm Zachary Davis. That's Jordan Carlson over there. Jordan, it's another week. We've been playing games. We're going to talk some games. What have you been up to since we last did a PWP?
Oh my god. Well, I've continued my exploration into RPGs turnstile.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm dabbling back into the Octopath Traveler game realm, I guess is what I meant to say. But so I've been doodling around in there.
Sure. Hot off last week's announcement of Octopath Traveler 0.
Yep.
Are you trying to get caught up before that comes out? Is that the plan?
I am, but okay. I feel like I need to redact a statement I've made.
Oh, okay. I'm curious.
Adventures of Elliot.
Okay.
Looks pretty sick.
It's a bad title, I think, but yeah, I think it looks cool.
No, it does. I really didn't give it a chance. I was so hung up on the name thing and was laughing about it. And after I've watched the trailer a couple of times over now. Yeah. And I can't believe I didn't realize this feels stupid to say out loud, but like watching the combat, it's not really turn-based style. It's almost like the Tales of games.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love that. And also looking back at like some of the ways you traverse the world, it just looks really interesting. It looks very different. It was hard for me to get over the really dramatic vocals on the trailer.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, the narration was not the best.
It was so over the top. It was hard for me I had to zone. I just had to recalibrate and go back, settle down, rewatch it.
Well, like Octopath very much feels like a throwback to old RPGs, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's definitely a place for that. But yeah, you're right. This feels like it's kind of evolving some of those ideas, things we've seen maybe in more modern 3D RPGs, and applying them to that, which is cool.
Yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about that one, honestly. But I'm really enjoying getting back into Octopath, and I'm a pretty big novice in those games. Like,
sure.
Outside of, I remember playing old Final Fantasy and stuff as a kid, but I mean, it's refreshing and it's really cozy. It's very fun. So I'm really, that's what I'm enjoying over the last week. But
well, you've got a lot of game ahead of you, from what I understand. Those are both two meaty games.
And like, I think something worth noting too. I'm sorry to keep going on this, but like I was watching reviews on the first and second Octopath because honestly I couldn't remember like anything, and it always gets me when people review a game and they're talking about the story and you can like feel how excited they are about it.
Okay, yeah.
And I watched this one guy who reminded me of how I get when I'm telling somebody to play a game. I'm like, the story, like if you just zone in, like they're really sold on it. Sure. And like that guy, I was like, you know what? There's something here that feels really good. I gotta play this.
Yeah, I mean that's the heart of any good RPG, right? Is the writing. So
yeah,
very cool, very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Since we've recorded, I have started and beat Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Okay.
One time. From what I understand, you can do it differently, make a different choice, all that kind of stuff. But very cool game. Just mini review. I'm not going to harp on it, but it's very much a throwback also to specifically like the old NES action games. It's hard as hell. Mm. Looks beautiful as a pixel art game. You don't see too many of those anymore, so that's cool. Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's not perfect, right? But like, it's probably like a solid 8 out of 10.
Okay.
If you're looking for an action game like that, it's a good one. But I'm excited, and actually, we're cutting into my Fortnite time here. A new season started today. The night we're recording the Shock and Awesome season, and I'm stoked. I got to jump in.
Is that the post you made the other day?
It is. Yeah. So they've teased the season. That was the Battle Pass image that I shared on our Instagram at Pod with Power. I don't know what the vibe is. I don't know if you were upset to see that. I don't know what it was.
No, I was just teasing you. You're just like one of the many people, honestly, that I know that are pretty pumped about it. I just was teasing you about it. It's pretty fun. I am always impressed by how much support that game gets, and I think it's very cool that it does.
The thing is, I want to be out, I've been trying to get out now for I think several seasons, and every time there's always at least one thing that draws me back in. And this battle pass has, not only does it have Halo Spartans in it and the energy sword as a pickaxe, that's pretty cool, but the green Power Ranger is the level 100 reward. Alternate skin, white Power Ranger. You're gonna be able to get the Megazord as a skin. They're putting the other 5 Power Rangers out there in the shop. Like they're going all out.
Okay. That's
so I'm gonna have to do it at least one more time, and then I'm sure in 3 months they'll put something else in there that I'll need to have. Jafar or something will be in the battle pass.
Whoever's doing that job's doing it very well.
They are, yeah.
Yeah,
they're making it happen.
They're keeping people just stuck.
Yeah, forever. It is. It's perfectly spaced out in a way that I can't, and they don't all hit. Bruno Mars for me, I didn't need him, but I got him. Yeah, he's there. He's in my Fortnite locker.
I could quit if I wanted to. I could quit if I wanted to.
I can't do it. I cut off the subscription though. They have a subscription to like get all the battle passes.
You were.
So I stopped doing that. I was. You get 1,000 V-Bucks. You get access to all the passes, all that stuff.
Monthly payments.
It's $12 a month. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So I've stopped doing that. I'm gonna just buy the regular battle pass this season. I don't need all the other stuff, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Sometimes those festival, so they have a mode in there. They own Harmonix, who did Guitar Hero and Rock Band. So they have a rhythm game mode in there now. So they also do a pass focused on that. And they've had some pretty cool, they've had Metallica, they've had Sabrina Carpenter. Like I said, Bruno Mars was the last one. That's going to change over in a couple weeks. So we'll see what they throw at us there. If it's like Seal or something.
Oh my God. Whoa.
A Seal festival pass. You got me for life, Fortnite. Yeah. I'm down. But
in Fortnite. Oh my God.
I won't bore you with the Fortnite talk. I know that's not you. If Power Rangers doesn't get you in, I don't think anything will. I mean, it's like the perfect Fortnite skin, right? They're generic looking. Mm-hmm. You got all the pickaxes, the back blings, all that stuff. So if that doesn't do it, nothing will.
I don't know about that. I feel like they could get me in. I just don't know I don't know how, but I'm waiting.
Who? Because going through, I mentioned Metallica. You're a big Metallica guy.
Yeah.
That didn't do it. I've got all 4 of them. I'm playing as Rob Trujillo all the time.
Well, it's good. Glad you're not playing as Lars.
I'm not playing as Lars too often. Of the 4, he's probably the one I use the least. That's fair. Even though his hitbox is probably the smallest. But who would it be? Like, what from pop culture could get you in there?
Dude, I don't know. I really don't. Like, I don't think I would know it until I see it. I'm such shit at that game.
Okay.
So I don't really know. I kind of look at this the same way I look at pops, pop figures.
Sure, yeah.
I'm like, what's going to get me to buy these things? And then in my head, I'm like, pops, I'm thinking about where I can put them, but I can't, it's not the same for Fortnite, but it's like the same kind of thing. Am I going to buy these or am I not going to buy these? What's it going to take for me to buy these?
I've at least just limited myself with those to a couple things. I'll get Dragon Ball ones. I'll get Spider-Man ones. I just bought J. Jonah Jameson.
See, that's
probably a bridge too far. He's in the weeds.
Okay. I feel like, that's like comedic value to me, so I'd be into it.
Sure. He's got the little newspaper. It says Menace on it. It's fun.
There we go.
Yeah. But let's knock out some of this housekeeping.
Yeah.
So we can get to the show. Podcasting with Power is an independent podcast made by the two of us, and your support goes a long way. You can watch PWP on YouTube and Spotify, or listen on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Wherever you are, we'd really appreciate if you'd follow, comment on, or review the show. You can keep up with us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and more at Pod with Power. We post show updates, clips, and anything else we think you might find interesting. So check that out and help support the show. I do also want to shout out that Nintendo is featuring a Play Together sale on the eShop. Now, I made a post about this on the socials, so you might have seen that out there. There are a lot of multiplayer games. That's kind of the focus of this sale. It goes on right now to August 17th. There's some cool first-party stuff. Mario Golf is on there, which I thought was fine on the Switch. Not my favorite Mario Golf. But we made a couple recommendations. I know I'm big on the Mario and Rabbids, especially the first one. It's like $5. Come on. You got to jump in there. And then
$5.
Clubhouse games, I think, is like the perfect, just, you're up north, you're at the cabin. Let's, play some chess on the Switch. It's great.
Yeah. I like it. I like that it's out there,
Yeah. And you had shouted out both Portal and Cuphead.
Yeah, Portal. Yep. Portal, Cuphead. I honestly, it took me a minute. The funny thing, I was texting you that day, and I had just rebought that same collection for $20, so I was pretty bummed. And I forgot that they renamed that bundle that.
Yeah, the companion collection.
Yeah. Because I was like, is that the first one's in there? But yeah, sure. I had just bought it, but man, But Portal, man, that's super cheap. And Portal's such a great game. Portal and Portal 2.
That's another one I think is around $5 for the two of them.
Heck yeah.
And like Portal 2, no fooling. No. One of my favorite games of all time. Like literally like top 5.
It's hilarious. Yeah. It's super thought-provoking. It's very fun. And then you got Cuphead, which is not hilarious, very hard, very cool. Very cool, very cool looking.
Gorgeous game. I've only played a little bit of that co-op, couch co-op for that one. But yeah, man, you gotta get Portal. How does that play on the Switch?
Pretty good. I can't complain.
I played it everywhere else, but I haven't done it there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured it was like, well, I mean, $20 felt cheap to me at the time, but $5 is better. But I've played it on the PC already. I hate to. This is one of those games where I feel like I've played it everywhere at one point. So I'm thinking like, hey, it's been a while for a replay. Let's have it portable, So it's kind of what I've been up to. Yeah.
Now I'm jealous. I might have to give it a shot.
Yeah, dude, $5. Why not? You're talking Rabbids $5, Portal $5.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I like Mario and Rabbids, Portal 2, much better game.
Yeah.
And Portal 1, probably. Portal 1 is. I'll give that game its flowers too. A little simpler, but I like it.
Yeah.
So jumping into the Nintendo news, we don't have a ton of it this week. We've got 3 stories that are kind of 2 stories. We're always doing this. I'm sorry. So 1 and 2, again, as they often do, kind of blurred together. Story number 1. Nintendo reconfirms release windows for major upcoming Switch 2 games. This is by Jim Norman at Nintendo Life. Nintendo's quarterly financial report is here, and as usual, the company wraps things up by highlighting a bunch of titles we can look forward to seeing on the Switch 2 and Switch 1 in the coming months. These are the games they've reconfirmed for the Switch 2. We've got Dragon Drive coming next week. That's cool. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, nice. Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Starcross World. I just picked up a copy of Kirby and the Forgotten Land from Facebook Marketplace this past weekend.
You did?
I did. Yeah, $20. Not bad.
Not bad at all, actually.
And I intend to get this. So
have you have you played at all Kirby and the Forgotten Land?
I checked it out from the library around the time it came out. Okay. So I played through it, beat the game. Never went back and bought it because I was like, I've kind of got my fill of it here.
You blockbustered it. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
But now I've got this. I'll buy the little upgrade pack.
Yeah.
When that comes out in a couple weeks, and we'll go from there.
That's what I'm going to do too. I want to play the upgrade pack. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Pokemon Legends ZA, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, coming October 16th. Then we get into the nebulous stuff. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, coming this winter. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, 2025. Kirby Air Riders 2025. And Splatoon Raiders to be determined. From the Switch, some of those are cross-platform, but we've also got Tamagotchi Life, Rhythm Heaven Groove, and Pokemon Champions all coming in 2026. So the reason I bring this up is because we're getting to the point where people are starting to worry about some of these games and that they're going to slip into next year. Mm-hmm. I'm not as concerned, I think, maybe as other people are with Metroid Prime and Kirby. Both of those have got ratings in foreign countries, so we know that's it's imminent, right? Like by the time they're getting a, T for teen rating, game's pretty much locked. So yeah. I think those are coming soon. Are you worried about any of these titles? Do you think?
Honestly, the only one that I would have been worried about. Actually, no, I'm lying. Metroid Prime 4.
Sure.
And for some reason, Kirby Air Riders. I don't know why.
I don't know. Like, looking at them still calling Hyrule Warriors this winter, and the fact that they didn't give us a date at last week's partner showcase. I think that game's definitely like it's going to be this winter, but like the 2026 part of winter. You know what I mean? January, February, something like that. I think Metroid's got to be either September or November.
Okay.
And I think we're kind of getting too close for it to be September.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah.
Kirby, I'm thinking Kirby's like early December.
I don't know, man. I've seen some articles. That's kind of why I cheated a little bit, but
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's one particular that was like Kirby Air Riders should be delayed to 2026 if anything is not going perfectly. Former Nintendo marketing leads say. And I mean, because honestly, the only reason I even found that was because I wanted to see more. I was just trying to see if maybe I could see more about the game. And I was able to find surprisingly little.
Okay.
So
was this Kit and Krista by any chance? Is that where
the article that I'm talking about?
Yeah, they were former Nintendo marketing leads. So
Kit, yeah.
They have a great channel.
It is Kit and Krista. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
Those devious bastards. Yeah. But no, I feel like Kirby Air Riders is getting delayed, which is like really wild. That's not one that I would choose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's gonna be one of them. So
yeah, I'm with you there. I'll jump right into story number 2 because I think this kind of also paints a bit of that picture.
Okay.
And that is Metroid Prime 4, Elden Ring, Silksong, all playable at Nintendo's Gamescom booth. This is Ollie Reynolds, also at Nintendo Life. Nintendo will be making an appearance at this year's Gamescom, and it looks like the company's full lineup of games has been revealed. It's a doozy. I'll just read you the list here, but it does highlight that many of the titles scheduled to appear have yet to receive firm dates, but Prime 4, Hades 2, and Elden Ring are, at the very least, supposedly due to launch at some point this year. The full list looks like this: Borderlands 4, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, Donkey Kong Bonanza, EA Sports FC 26, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Mario Kart World, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics, Pokemon ZA, and Super Mario Party Jamboree. So we've got a mix of some games coming out, some games with dates, and then a handful of games that do not have dates. Okay. So this is part of what makes me think Metroid Prime 4 is closer than something like Kirby, because Metroid Prime 4 was at the launch event for Switch 2. It's now going to be playable at this. But something like Kirby and Hyrule Warriors not being here makes me think those are a little further out.
Yeah.
What does this list kind of spark?
Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics is weird to me. What is that? What are we doing?
So when they did the pre-release event, they did the 3 games that it launched with, and then also Mario Strikers. So that was we kind of knew that was probably going to be the first one. I wonder if this will have 1 or 2 new GameCube games that aren't on the service currently.
I mean, I kind of guess that, but it's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like what would they put on there? It'd have to be something hype, I would say. If they're going to put it on here, I would imagine it's going to be something people are hyped about.
We didn't talk about how weird it was that they didn't put Pokemon Coliseum or Gale of Darkness on there during that Pokemon Presents.
Yeah.
That would have been a slam dunk. Like, we know those are coming.
Yeah.
You're doing a Pokemon thing, just be like, they're out today.
Right. I don't know. It doesn't it feel, I don't know. Like there's another plan for it, but it's like I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with the GameCube stuff. It's very weird to me. I'm just kind of just sitting by and waiting for some more news on that, I guess.
Yeah. I know we're only 2 months from the release of the Switch 2, but like it feels like this has gone so slow.
Yeah, it has.
And yeah, who knows? We're probably due for a Nintendo Classics drop pretty soon. I know we just got Mario Paint, but hopefully we get something soon. And then Hades 2 and Hollow Knight, I'm going to save that because I want to talk about that in story number 3.
Cool.
There was, the day we're recording this,
yes,
an Indie World showcase on Nintendo's various channels all over the internet. They went through a handful of games. Before we go in, how do you compare? We talked about how maybe we were a little more okay with the partner showcase than other people on the web.
Yeah.
Comparing that to this, I see, and the thing is, I had kind of talked myself into this will be the better of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
And after it happened, I don't believe it was.
No? Okay.
There's definitely stuff in there that I like, but were there some exclamation points there for you? Like looking through this list of games?
Honestly, yeah. And I don't know if it's just a phase I'm going through. I'm very much a phase guy, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Like my personality, just whatever I'm into at that time, I feel like is what I just am all about. I can't help it. And I know, I was just going through some of this list with you before we hopped on, but I mean, games like Content Warning. I know I'm going to talk about Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, but I'm just going to say Ultimate Chicken Horse right now. Like indie games like that, like I just have so much fun. I've been playing Repo, and I'm trying to remember the other ones. Repo, what's the one where like you're in this facility and somebody has a knife, or you got to kill everybody? It's not Repo, but games like that. You know what I mean? Where you're playing with your buddies, and it's like they're kind of dumb but like funny looking. There's another one where you're playing Demonologist.
I don't know.
It's just these like party games. You jump in, you're like, oh, it's a haunted house. We gotta use these different tools to figure out what kind of ghost is in here. And like seeing Content Warning, like seeing more games like that, I should say, coming to the Switch, like I love that.
Yeah.
So to me, because I'm always saying to my family, because I'll play these games with my friends. I'm always saying to my family, like, man, I wish we could play on the Switch together. I wish we could do that. It's cool to see, those kind of games come to the Switch. So more reach to a larger audience. People who don't have PCs can play some of these things. I love to see games like that. So Content Warning was really big. I won't get super into the Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. We can get into that in a minute, but I was pumped about that. That's another, Ultimate Chicken Horse was a great party game.
Yeah.
Love that. And we'll get into that too. But so yeah, just seeing games like that make this list, that's exciting to me. I love that.
So I'm realizing now I should probably go through the list for anybody who's listening and watching us so they can know what we're talking about. I'll just give you a quick rundown of the list of games. We've got Mina the Hollower coming out October 31st. Demo out today. Very excited about that. Well Dweller in 2026. Neverway in 2026. This one, the gameplay itself didn't catch my eye, but it's the pixel artist from Celeste, which I love, and it's the composer from Fez. Ooh. So can't go wrong there. Then we got Herdling coming out very soon, August 21st. And then Is the Sea Taken out today. Little Kitty Big City is getting a picture-perfect free update.
Hell yeah.
I never played that one. I've heard good things about Little Kitty Big City, but
okay,
we'll leave it at that. You mentioned Content Warning. That's coming to both Switch 1 and 2 in 2026. Ball and Pit is Switch 2 this fall, and Switch 1 October 15th. That's kind of like a roguelite breakout, sort of. You're breaking blocks with a ball,
Breaking blocks.
Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, you mentioned, coming winter 2025 on both Switch 1 and 2. Glaciered, coming to Switch 2 this holiday. Winterborough, winter 2025. Undusted Letters from the Past, October 2025. Tiny Bookshop, out today. Caves of Quood, winter 2025. Strange Antiquities, September 17th. Opus Prism Peak, fall 2025. Go-Go Town, spring 2026. And UFO 50, out today. I am so excited that UFO 50 is now on Switch.
Okay.
Are you aware of this game?
I am not.
So this came out around this time last year, maybe last fall, on PC, reviewed very, very well, like 90 Metacritic, and it is like, imagine like the Atari collection they did a couple years ago, right? Atari 50. So UFO Soft is this fictional developer, and this is a collection of their fictional games that they would have made from 1982 to 1989. And there's sequels, there's cameos, between the games. It's kind of got this like through line, throughout all the things. So I'm very excited. I wanted to play it on Switch when I heard about it last year, and I've been waiting for a port, and for it to just shadow drop today is awesome.
Wow. I'm looking at some screenshots of this. This looks very goofy and fun.
It does, right? There's 50 different games in there.
Oh my god.
Mina the Hollower is the other one that sticks out to me. I'm already there day one for that game. I didn't need this today to do that. It's nice that the demo's out today. I'm going to give it a shot. I think it's the first area and boss, from what I understand. This is that, like, Game Boy Zelda-like from the Shovel Knight people.
Okay.
Club game. So you should try this demo out. From what I understand, it does 120 frames per second on both handheld and supported TVs.
That is cool.
Yeah, so I want to see that in action.
That's cool. I'm looking at it right now. Very like dark, very Castlevania feel. Like look, not play, obviously. Like you said, more of a Game Boy Zelda, very Oracle of Seasons, but Castlevania-esque. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That is awesome.
I'm very excited for that one. I've got it on my Fantasy Critic. I need it to do well.
Oh.
But I just want to play it, you know?
I got all my eggs in this basket.
I do. I like to pick games in that I am attached to, you know?
Yeah.
Because I can pick stuff. I know how to pick them, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Monster Hunter Wilds, I can look at that and be like, yeah, that's a 9 out of 10. I don't want that, though. I'm not playing that game.
9 out of 10. Easy.
Yeah. Occasionally I'll do that. But I try to pick games that I'm actually interested in.
Yeah.
Besides Ultimate Sheep Raccoon and Content Warning, does anything else stand out here, or was this kind of a dud indie world for you?
So that's the thing. So those stood out to me because I'm familiar with them, you know. But like I think I don't know what it is that's changed in me. I don't know if I'm just surrounded by more people who like indies. But I have another friend of mine who is very into indies and. Just telling me all about these different ones that he likes, and it's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. So like I used to be really bored by Indie World presentations whenever Nintendo would do a showcase. But now I kind of see it as this opportunity to get into something different. And I think this goes back to like we've talked previously on the podcast about like Pokemon ROM hacks and my interest in those. Yeah. I used to see Indie Worlds kind of the same way that I thought ROM hacks would be.
Okay.
Where they weren't, it'd be like it's not like a full-fledged game,
It's almost there, yeah.
And that's obviously completely not true. And I've always had the hits, but for instance, this Mino the Hollower, like that looks very cool. I'm glad that you're kind of talking that one up a little bit because that looks like fun. I think I would really enjoy that. Seems like gameplay that I'm very familiar with and would enjoy.
Of anyone I know, I think that is a Jordan game, right?
Definitely. I will absolutely play that. I think it's cool that the demo's out so I can at least give it a try. So that'll be fun. Yeah. And then UFO 50, I just love goofy. I love goofy shit like that. So that'll be fun. So I would say those two, honestly, out of the ones that on this list. But I mean, as I'm looking through it, I feel like I'm gonna end up perusing the eShop as you do. And, you find all these things that look kind of interesting. And I think that part of the Switch's marvel is the accessibility you have to some of these things sometimes.
Yeah.
And like being able to have it anywhere. It's not like I'm just like sitting at my PC. I could just be on the couch. And indie games, typically, the ones that I tend to be gravitated towards are those like goofy little ones you can pick up for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So I'm actually pretty excited about this showcase. I mean, I haven't given it a lot of my time today to really dive into, but
yeah,
for me, if I'm looking at it first glance and I'm seeing things that stick out to me, that feels pretty good.
Okay. I want to ask you a little bit about the stuff that wasn't there. I know I have some question marks that I expected to be here, that I kind of expected to be at the partner showcase before we knew about Indie World. Before I jump into that, was there anything that you thought would be here that wasn't?
To be honest with you, I don't really think so. I'll let you go first. Let me stir on that a little bit.
So I had kind of ruled out Hollow Knight Silksong. They've definitely done some Xbox marketing. I did mention it's going to be at Nintendo's booth at Gamescom, so there is something going on there with the Switch. But I think that's maybe bigger than Indie World. And that's got to be coming soon. They've said it's going to come out before the Xbox Raj Ally. That leaked, I think today it's coming out sometime in October. So, we'll see if that's real or not, but that means Hollow Knight must be sometime before that. The other ones that I kind of expected here today, so Yooka-Laylee is getting a remake-ish, Yuka Replay, which I'm excited for. I enjoyed that game well enough, but it wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, and this kind of feels more like what the vision was.
Yeah.
And they teased something yesterday, the day before this Indie World. They teased that they're about to really give the release date. And so I totally expected it here today, and it just wasn't.
Wow.
So maybe Gamescom, they'll do their own thing. I don't know. And then kind of in the same vein, Shovel Knight I don't know what they're calling this. They're basically remaking the original, base Shovel Knight game.
Okay.
So I kind of thought that might be here. Like I said, we got Yacht Club with Mina the Hollower. Maybe they wanted to put more focus on that. Oh, and Hades 2. So Hades 2 has been in early access. It's on PC. It's going to launch. It's going to be a console exclusive on Switch, at least Switch 2, maybe both Switches. And from what I understand, this most recent update, people are saying it's ready. This is probably going to be the last one before full release, probably September. So I kind of thought we'd get that here and get a formal announcement.
Honestly, I think that's really the only one that I could think of. While you were kind of chatting with me, one of my other buddies is really into Hades, and I saw Hades on your other list for that last piece of news, and it is kind of interesting that they didn't have anything.
Yeah, for it to be seemingly so close to be playable at Gamescom, yeah, I kind of expected that to be the big indie thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, like I said, you're probably a little hotter on this presentation than I was, but there's good stuff here.
Yeah. It's
not all for me, but we'll see. I do want to throw in one thing, as we do the news. Where it's an evolving show here, right? We're figuring things out as we go.
Of course.
And I want to highlight, and I'm certainly not going to go through all the games every week, but I'll highlight a couple of big games coming to Switch 1 and 2 every week. So, story number 4, out this week. We've got Dragon Drive from Nintendo on Switch 2. That's coming out August 14th. EA Sports Madden NFL 26 on Switch 2, also on the 14th. And rounding out the trifecta of August 14th games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown for the Switch 1, playable on your Switch 2. I have not paid a ton of attention to this. Ninja Turtle games sometimes are really cool. I think, like me, you probably grew up playing the old Nintendo ones, the arcade one. I really want to try that Shredder's Revenge that they came out with a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool. And then the last game I got on this list is Off, which comes out August 15th for the Switch. This is an indie RPG. Toby Fox of Undertale fame is doing the music for it. So I just wanted to highlight that a little bit. You picking any of these up this week?
I don't think any of these, no.
Okay. I'm still undecided about Madden. I think
that's right. We were talking about that.
I'm curious. I saw
feel
someone anecdotally.
You should go physical, man. Go physical.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's a game key card, so you'll have to download it, but I can't always, pawn it off on somebody if I don't care for it.
Well, I was just going to say, just like you were saying, it's the first man to come in a while.
Yeah.
Go physical.
No, and then Dragon Drive, I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm playing Dragon Drive. I'm shooting hoops.
Dude, I spent all my rupees, man. I got $20 Portal over here, dude.
That's fair. They have the Switch Online icons for Dragon Drive right now. I bought a couple of them.
Oh.
Used my Nintendo coins to get them. Just a handful. But we've talked a lot of indies today. And I thought it was fitting that topic of the show should just be, let's talk about indies as a whole. We've spent a lot of time talking about Nintendo games on this podcast over the past several weeks. But I think indie games have really been part of Nintendo's identity for a couple years now. That was something at the top of the presentation today that made me laugh, where I forget how they phrased it exactly, but they kind of made it sound like the Switch 1 was the first system to have indie games on it. You know how they like to frame things like that, where they're like, the Switch 1, indie games have dominated the landscape. And I'm like, okay, it was probably before that, but, but going back even to like WiiWare, the little downloadable titles like Lost Winds, like I remember doing that.
Yeah.
DSiWare had a little bit of that. 3DS had a ton of indies. I think that's where I started getting into, it was around that era. I didn't have too many on the 3DS, but a couple, Mutant Mudds, all that kind of stuff. But I'll jump right in. Do you consider yourself a fan of the indie scene today? I know you talked about how, that maybe wasn't always your jam, but it sounds like that's evolved a bit.
It has evolved quite a bit. I see indies like a vacation home.
Okay.
Like I don't stay there, but I like to stay there for a couple of weeks. Like I don't reside there. Okay. I travel there.
I like that analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like it's almost like an in-between thing. So if I'm feeling a little bit of a lull, I'll kind of experiment with a couple of indies. And I mean, there's some titles that like I'm trying to be conscious of the words I use. I'm like blowing my mind. Like I don't want to say that because then I'm being really over the top about it.
Yeah.
But like, I think I feel that way because my expectations are so low.
Okay.
So like, there's been a couple of games that I've played, and have you played Limbo?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so Limbo was one of those games for me.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is about those puzzlers, especially because like I like dark art,
Yeah.
And it's super odd, a little creepy. It feels like Temu Little Nightmares kind of sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
I
know you're a big fan of those too.
But I mean, like, the puzzling is super fun. It's pretty creative. I've beat it twice.
Okay.
Amanda and I, my girlfriend Amanda, her and I played that together. And it's just like, it's fun to like, you get stuck at a part and you're like, oh man, like, what do you think? What do you think you do? She's like, maybe go back that way. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those games you can toss on and just play. And it's like kind of thought provoking. Like, I don't know. So like, I find indies to be, they're just so vast. You really never know what you're going to get with it. You never know what's going to come through those doors. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
It's fun because it's unexpected. I think that's the fun of indies,
Before we get too far away from it, I do want to recommend, because you like Limbo, have you played Inside?
Yes.
Is there follow-up? Okay.
Yes.
And then, so after that, the team kind of split. And in recent years, they've put out two different games. Those teams, Planet of Lana was one of them, which I thought was okay. It was more like those two games, I felt like.
Okay.
But the other one, and I have this kind of on my list as one of my recent favorites, Cocoon. Cocoon is so good, and it is doing exactly what you're talking about with that. It's a lot of abstract puzzle solving.
Okay.
And it just builds on itself, right? Like, you'll learn a technique and you'll use that in an area, and then you move to the next spot, and now there's a whole new technique, and you're going to kind of mix that with what you already know and figure new things out.
Ooh, you got me interested in Cocoon. I'm looking at some Cocoon gameplay here. Okay.
That came out in 2023, which was a stacked year. And when I did my whole little, game of the year list, Cocoon was very high.
Okay.
Like up there with Tears of the Kingdom. Like so good.
It's at the top of the Zach list.
It is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to give it a shot.
Honestly. That's a good one. But yeah, I think you nailed it. It is kind of like a vacation home, right? I've spent 50 some hours with Donkey Kong Bonanza over the past couple of weeks. I'm kind of looking now to wind that down. I've almost collected everything. But I kind of need, Ninja Gaiden was a great break from that. It's a very different kind of game, but I want something that's a little more chill right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at things like UFO 50. I think I'm going to download that maybe after the podcast here. That, I can just kind of turn my brain off and play for a bit. And I think indies are very good about that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. At least it feels that way. And I mean, I feel like you've always been somebody that I've known is into indies, or at least games that remind me of indies. There's like games like we've talked about WarioWare extensively. That game always reminds me of an indie. I know it's not obviously, but in
spirit,
that kind of stuff. You've always been into those kind of games. Or I'm thinking of what did Nintendo do? It was like retro. You play through, goes through the different games really quickly, and you got to complete the little levels. But it's like something from Zelda, something from.
They did NES Remix.
Remix.
Or recently, Nintendo World Championships.
Like whenever they do stuff like that, I always feel like you're pretty down with it. Like you're really into that.
Yeah, I'm maybe an experimental gamer. You know? I'm always intrigued by ideas like that. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
I feel like experimental gamer is the type of gamer who's into indies.
Sure.
Which is, it makes sense.
Well, and I think indies kind of occupy this really cool space because they're not beholden to big companies.
Yeah.
They can experiment, right?
Right.
So I was kind of thinking about this on the drive home. Like, I like that a lot of indies have kind of looked to the past for inspiration. You got a lot of Metroidvanias, for example, right? Because those people grew up playing those. Now they're making their own. But I love when they can blend like two genres.
Yeah.
So the game that comes to mind is Yoku's Island Express. This is a Metroidvania pinball game. Okay? And you are a little ball, and you are traversing this world, and as you go, the power-ups you're getting are unlocking different like pinball techniques. So you might get a thing that flips the right flipper or the left, or maybe springs you up. And as you go, you again kind of build up this toolkit of abilities, and it is so fun.
I just Googled Yoko Ono's Game Boy Express. I don't know why.
I would try that though. I would.
Oh, that's cool though. That's cool. No.
Yeah. And I know we'll talk about things like Tunic, like that is very much a Zelda-like kind of mixed with the Dark Souls kind of combat system. Did you play Tunic?
A lot.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Dude, I love Tunic. We could talk about it a little bit if you want to, but my God.
Well, so I kind of have a list here. What I wanted to touch on is that indies, I feel like, have become such a big part of gaming right now.
Yeah.
Like there was, Xbox Live Arcade. We talked about WiiWare. We talked about the early eShop on the 3DS and the Wii U. Like these kind of, for me, where that's where I found stuff. And obviously Steam is great for finding indie games. I don't want to, discount that.
Yeah.
But now, as we kind of reach this point where the big players are having trouble funding their games, big games are taking longer than ever to produce. How many we talked about at the Switch launch, we were talking about Last of Us and how it has been a very long time since The Last of Us Part 2. And now we're still waiting on their next, Intergalactic to come out, which probably won't be in the next year. Who knows? And that's just where AAA gaming is right now. It takes years and a ton of money to make these things. So indies kind of have this advantage of being more agile, and I feel like kind of prop up the year as you go. So I just kind of wanted to run down a list of like higher profile indies.
Okay.
And stop me if you want to talk about any of these.
Yeah.
But just over the years that come to mind, Fez, Braid, you mentioned Limbo, The Witness, very cerebral puzzle. That one was a little over my head, Okay. I like to think of myself as a puzzle gamer, but The Witness was like, it got to the point where I wasn't having fun with it. I was like, this is just,
oh my God, really?
Yeah, this is just too much.
The Witness.
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna look at this. Now you got me all curious. Whoa, not for me.
It's very much like you got to take notes. You got to recognize patterns from hours ago. Like it wants you to commit to it. Like it's a college course. Like it is.
I just immediately pulled up a couple photos and it's very, that looks complicated. Beautiful though. Looks really good.
It's very cool. And when you do solve the puzzles, you feel like a genius. Like
oh my God.
It is one of those, it's great at that. But moving down the list, we got Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, No Man's Sky. We've mentioned a little bit of Hollow Knight Silksong, but the first Hollow Knight, Hades, Among Us, Tunic, Animal Well, more recently, right. Vampire Survivors, and Untitled Goose Game.
Oh,
these are kind of just off the top of my head. I like rattled off. I'm like, what are kind of the highest profile indies I can think of? Did
you put any of these on this list for me?
I wasn't sure. We haven't talked about a lot of these games. Some of these I look at and I go, like Tunic, I kind of guessed that you would be into.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, which of these have you enjoyed?
I played Untitled Goose Game 2 times.
Yep.
And it was a hoot. I mean, like, because I had to play it alone, and then I was like, we're co-oping this whole thing.
Yeah.
So Amanda and I played that together. I also played it with my buddy, James. I played it with James.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we played through that. It's hilarious. Kind of want to do it again, to be honest with you. And then
sure.
Tunic played extensively. I can't tell you how many nights I fell asleep playing that game. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How far did you get in that game?
I finished it after a lot of grueling effort.
It's like extremely challenging. And also, I feel like, I don't know how many hours. It's been a while now. I think I played through that in like 2023.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I forget when it came out.
I want to say 2023. Yeah, because
okay.
I remember there was 2 places I lived ago. No, I played through it, and it's like I didn't realize maybe, I don't know, 2 hours into the game that I was not supposed to understand anything that I was reading.
Yeah. So that's, for those that don't know, that's kind of like the whole thing.
It's the whole point.
It tells you almost nothing.
Yeah.
And you have like this kind of old school looking manual that there's a screen that pulls that up.
Which I love.
And you are finding pages in the world to fill out that manual. And it tells you, like, I forget what the technique was. Like, maybe it was like the roll thing. And I just didn't know I could do that.
No.
And I found it very late. And I was like, oh, I could have been doing this literally the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's very cool discovering that stuff, but then when it's something like that where you're like, this would have helped me so much,
Mm-hmm.
it can be a little frustrating.
It was. And then not only that, but like traversing the world and not understanding areas that you could have gone under because of the way that the world is.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being stuck for so long just to realize that all I had to do was walk alongside this giant wall and go back and under. I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an inventive way for them to kind of, I don't want to say pad out because that's not really what I mean, but like, you know, a Zelda-like is not an uncommon type of game.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, they added kind of the Dark Souls style combat and checkpointing and all that to make it a little harder. But yeah, like, who would have thought that just not telling you anything would make so much of that game? Well, you know, that's the experience.
Almost like recreating the Zelda 1 experience, where it's like you don't know anything unless you talk to somebody because nobody's going to tell you in the game. I love that the manual is directly like straight out of Zelda. You know, like you look at the pages. Yeah. I love that. The art style is gorgeous. The music is beautiful. The fighting that you brought up, like very Soul style. I like how it's very like how you're maneuvering your sword and your shield and your different like it's very you have to put thought into it. Like you can't just run around and slash your sword. Like you're so fragile in that world. Like you might go up against something that you're just totally not ready for, lose all your stuff,
right?
Lose all your shapes.
Yeah.
And then you gotta come back and go get them, man. Like it's rough. I liked it.
Yeah. So any more of these stand out to you?
So we talked about Goose Game. You had mentioned one other one. We talked a little bit. We talked about Limbo. What was the other one?
You feel like someone that would be really into Among Us.
Oh,
no,
that feels weird to say.
Okay. Sure.
No, I had a little bit of a heyday, but it was more so my nephews. They got really into it.
I gotcha. Okay.
The game that I was trying to tell you earlier about, the 3D one, was based off Among Us. Protocol.
Okay. I'm not familiar.
Dang, I hate when I draw a blank on these things, man. It drives me nuts. Lockdown Protocol.
Okay.
That's what it is. Very much a 3D Among Us, just a little more involved with the tasking.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So hilarious. Proximity chat, just a great time. But Among Us, I played with my nephews and stuff. It was fun. It's good for a laugh, you know. It's available everywhere, crossplay. It's so easy.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I'm into that. But the other one you had brought up that I really liked, and before we started recording, I think it was Inside.
Yes. Yeah.
So Inside, I played. It's hard to say how far I am because I don't know how far I am from the end.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I don't know how long it is, but I know I'm probably, I don't know. And again, mind you, when I give you this time, I played with Amanda as well, so we were going slower, but maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours in.
Okay. Yeah.
Girlfriend time.
Okay.
So I don't know how much. Have you played through Inside?
I have not played Inside. No.
Okay. So have you seen it a bunch? If I explain,
yeah, enough of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for anybody who hasn't played it, very similar to Limbo in a way where it's like a dark puzzler. Limbo was way more 2D. I mean, it was 2D. And then Inside was a little more, I guess I'll say like comparable to like Super Mario 3D World, how you move around.
Yeah. Sure.
And so that the puzzling was a little more complicated and more detailed. Like the world that you're in and your puzzling has more going on in it. And from what I can remember, it was just it's very much just this, to me it was the same thing as Limbo, a dark puzzler you're moving through. I have no idea what's going on, some kind of dark storyline, but it's just a puzzle platformer, and I would like to return back to it because I was looking at a couple of pictures when we were going down our list, and you know, it's just those draw me in.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to give that one a real shot.
Have you played Outer Wilds?
I have not. You had brought that up last week, and that kind of made me think you must have given that one a try.
I haven't yet, but I every time I see it, I've watched people play it enough that it's like piqued my interest to play it and pick it up myself, but I haven't done it yet.
So I know very, very little about that, and that is apparently a good thing. I was told by a friend of mine who's very into that community that it's a big deal when someone streams that game for the first time that has no experience with it.
Really?
There's something about how it unfolds that people like to watch. And, you know, he's advised, this is when I was streaming more. He's like, if you're going to do it, like, put it out there, like, go on Reddit, like, people will show up to watch this.
Oh.
That the fact that you've never seen this before. So maybe if you choose to do that, maybe think about streaming it.
I think I will. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. That's Brian Pinto with that idea. So shout out to Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. But yeah, just like, I feel like I mentioned, indie's kind of taking over, right? Balatro, one of the 6 nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards last year. Like, that's a big deal. And I loved Balatro. I don't think I was as hot on it as the world was, but I did have a lot of fun with it. And then I just kind of wanted to highlight, too, that, like, there are massive games that I don't think we think of as indie anymore because they're not. They've been purchased by larger companies, but stuff like Minecraft, Rocket League, Fall Guys. At one point, like, our group of friends right out of high school, we were very early, I feel like, on Minecraft.
Yeah.
And it's wild to think of what that was then and how janky, like, I was running a weird server.
Oh, dude.
Like, we were, you know, yeah. And, like, to see where it's at now, and it's a major motion picture with Jack Black. Like, it's wild to see where Minecraft is now. But yeah, I did not include a bunch of games on that list because I wanted to talk about some of my favorite games of all time that are indies.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've mostly kept these out. But right off the top, I'll just go Celeste. Celeste is a very technical 2D platformer that is both unforgiving, but also, like, it's like one of the most pleasant games I've ever played. It's very uplifting.
Okay.
It's very much just like, keep trying, like, you'll do it, like, you will get it. And without fail, like, you will get it. And I don't even really want to tell you more than that. It's just like, if you like classic 2D platforming, Celeste is solid.
Mm-hmm.
Shovel Knight, come on. I love me some Shovel Knight.
You've always liked Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight reminds me of you when I see Shovel Knight.
Yeah. I love it. The expansions they did for it were awesome. Guacamelee is another one. This is from Drinkbox. I don't know how much I was playing. I feel like I was playing Guacamelee on my Vita when we were hanging out doing the old podcast.
Yeah. I remember we talked about it on the old podcast, actually.
Yeah. I was so that's a luchador themed Metroidvania. And it's like very traditional Metroidvania. It's more melee than Metroid. You're not shooting stuff, but yeah, it's very much homage to those games. And then Super Meat Boy is the other one, which is another one that we did a Let's Play of. Oh yeah, at the old place. But
that was that game is fun.
Yeah. Have you seen the Super Meat Boy 3D?
No.
I think it was maybe at the Xbox showcase this summer. I don't know if that's confirmed for either Switch at this point, but it looks so good. Like, translating that to 3D seems like a challenge, but it reminded me a lot of, you brought up Mario 3D World. It kind of feels like they did that to it.
Oh my god.
And I'm stoked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, can't wait for that one.
That's
and then
awesome.
Just some like recent favorites. I mentioned Cocoon, which absolutely, hearing how much you like both the other Playdead games, you got to play Cocoon.
Okay.
Citizen Sleeper I played this past year. I've got to play the new one. Humanity Sea of Stars is like a cool Chrono Trigger is probably the closest analog to that. That our friend Haley, told me about that one. She's a big proponent of that. Just came out with some free DLC, a whole big expansion. Nobody Saves the World, again, Drinkbox Studios, same as Guacamelee. Immortality. Are you aware of these? They're like the full motion video, almost like a choose your own adventure, right? And so you've got all these video clips and you're like trying to solve this mystery by like, you'll go into one and then you'll click on something in the scene and then it'll like take you to another clip and you're trying to like piece this whole story together.
Okay. I have not.
It's like, I could see you getting into something like this.
Is it comparable? Is it fair to say, like, this might be a stretch, I'm not sure, but like not quite Telltale, but maybe like Detroit Become Human type thing?
No, because it's not choice heavy like that.
Okay.
Not like that, at least. Like, it is very much like this one specifically is this actress was in like 3 different films and then I think disappeared, I think is the story. And so you've got to like analyze these clips like you're in a video editor and go through, and you might see the guy come out and do the clapper, right? And you'll be like, oh, I've seen that guy before. So you'll click on that guy. It'll take you to another clip with that guy. And now you're seeing a new scene, a new clip. And maybe you'll find, so you're going down this rabbit hole of like thing to thing to thing until you eventually get enough that you can kind of piece it all together.
Okay. Now I'm imagining it like Phoenix Wright or something.
I don't know if I'd even compare it to that. It's one of those where like this studio has made, I think, 3 different games of this style.
Okay.
Telling Lies is one of them, and I can't think of the other title.
No, I'll look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're excellent. Immortality was, I think, my favorite of the 3. Though.
Okay.
And it's the most recent one. And then Coffee Talk is just a cool little. It's not a dating sim, but it's kind of like that vibe. Like you are a barista, people are coming in, they're telling you about their lives, you're talking to them, interacting. It's very chill.
Okay.
I'm very into coffee.
I always forget Stardew Valley's an indie.
It is, yeah.
I always forget. I
should have put that here.
That's another huge one. I know so many people who probably have no. Well, I mean, they're not paying attention to that kind of thing. They just like it.
Yeah. Are you, as a big Harvest Moon guy, are you into Stardew?
So I've tried to get into Stardew a couple of times. It's on my list of things to try, because you're right. I really do like the Harvest Moon games, and to be honest with you, I still enjoy them just as much when I go back and play them. But I'm wondering, and I think I'll find this out through Stardew, because I love pixel art games like we've talked about. I'm wondering if I'll get that same kind of feeling when I play that, but it looks so fun and it looks really satisfying. Like, typically for me, that's enough to get me into something if it's very visually pleasing. So that's one I definitely have on the docket. But
it has some very deep and disturbing lore, from what I understand.
What's that?
Kali's niece is very into Stardew Valley, and when we would go over there for holidays, she would tell us these things about affairs and all these things that are happening in this town. And I'm like, this, you are a child. Like, what are you, this, I don't know about this. But seems like a cool game. I think you can handle it.
I think so. I hope so.
Man.
Like Terraria is another one.
I've never tried that.
Okay.
Can't really speak to Terraria.
I've screwed around with it. My sister's really into it, so I've kind of screwed around in it, but it was weird to me because it's always been described to me as 2D Minecraft.
Sure.
And I don't think I've given it a fair amount of time, but that's another one that is an indie, and I hear about it a lot, because I mean, it's not just from her, but like, there's a lot of kids really interested in it. I hear a lot of chatter from like my nephews and their friends, and Terraria comes up and people ask me if I have it when they come over, and it's like, I'm like, man, oh man, like these aren't the games I expected people to ask me for.
Yeah. You're right. It is one of those that you see all the time, but yeah, I just have no touchstone for it.
But I mean, some of my favorite indie games, the Little Nightmares games, as you know, I really love.
Okay.
I'm very excited for the 3rd, which I think is around Halloween.
Makes sense.
I think it's coming out around Halloween. It might even be on Halloween. I can't remember, but it's coming out right near Halloween. Amanda and I both have our eye on it. And I would say even above that one, I'm actually Googling when this one comes out. It's 2026. Dang. Reanimal.
Okay. I can think of that name and the title. I can't think of what it is though.
So it's made by the same creative team as Little Nightmares. And honestly, if you watch the trailer, you've probably seen the trailer because I've shared it, I think, on my story like 4 times now in totality. But it's It really is like just about the same gameplay. Even when you see like the air quotes villains, you know, like they're very long-limbed people, very creepy. But Reanimal looks to be a little bit more detailed with the environment. Like it's a little more. There's just a little more going on where Little Nightmares is kind of cartoony. They kind of leave out some of the details, a little grainy. Reanimal looks to be like, I don't even know how you'd say, but more realistic, a little more realistic, but still a cartoon.
It's stylized, but yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
But very creepy, very creepy. Reanimal seems like it's a different level of, I wouldn't say horror, but like, they're more intense with what they're doing. Like when you watch the trailer, there's this weird goat noise that happens, and it is like Resident Evil level scary sounding.
Okay.
You know? So like,
yeah.
So that really has my attention. I think even more, like I said, than Little Nightmares, but those two are super up there for me. I know we touched on Ultimate Chicken Horse. Don't have to beat that horse anymore. Wow, that was a weird way to. But I mean, like that's been a huge game for me and my family for a long time. It's always been just a great party game. We were introduced to that years ago.
Yeah, was that at
Gamers Forgiving?
Gamers Forgiving, Gamers Outreach,
like 2015
fundraiser,
maybe. It was a long time ago. And then some indies go super far back, like I keep almost name dropping because now at this point I feel like we're just talking, but it's like one of our close friends back in the day, Amnesia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just remember all of us just woeing over that, you know? Like I remember we were at a friend's house, all of us crowded around while we're playing Amnesia, and we're like, no, wait, this is like one of the scariest games.
Yeah. I think horror does very well in the same way that it does in the movie space. Like it's like you have some ideas, you get a little bit of funding, you go out there and make it, and people will buy it.
Yeah.
Very popular on Twitch. Like I think word of mouth really does wonders for horror indie games specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always drawn to horror games. I don't know why. I've like moved away from horror movies.
Okay.
But like something about horror games, and I think it's because you have to control the person. I keep trying to explain to Amanda, like we were talking the other day, we're trying to find a new game for her to get into. And indies are great because, you know, she's not a huge gamer. I feel like I should say this.
Sure.
She's not a huge gamer. She'll play things like Hogwarts, you know, here and there.
Yeah.
Well, I should say more than that. She's playing on hard now, which is insanity to me.
Oh, I didn't know that game had a hard mode.
Dude, she's played through that game 4 times. Wild.
Man.
Anyway, indies, though, are great because, like we've been saying, pick up and play, very simple, very fun kind of thing. So she has a lot of exposure to those. And I've been trying to get her into some of the horror games. She's like, I'm telling you, none of them are that scary. None of this is scary. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You gotta
very much not an indie game, but I played the Silent Hill 2 remake last October.
Yeah.
That excellent game. I haven't played any Silent Hill games, so this was my first one. And oh my god, that game it lives up. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's good because I wanted to play that when it came out. Not to go off too long on this one, but I played the original and then I put off the remake, and I've been thinking about that a little bit. It's been rattling around with the other 60 games in the back of my head that I want to play.
Exactly. I'm not really a horror guy in general. It's just not something that really piques my interest. But that came out, it reviewed very well, and I thought, okay, if I'm gonna try one, this is the one to do. So. Well,
that segues perfectly into my next one, but Outlast.
Okay, I've watched people play. I've seen streams. I've never been my thing.
So, have you looked into Outlast at all? Like, maybe not, since you were saying it's not really your jam.
Outside of, the occasional stream, no, I haven't.
Because Outlast, what was interesting about it to me, which I'm not going to come here and say that I'm just the Outlast guy. I've played a ton of it, but I've played enough of it. But what got me with that one was just the fact that it's not like you're not defending yourself. You're just hiding.
Okay.
So there's something about like not having the ability to do that makes things way more scary.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the best tools I think horror games have is when they take away something you expect, like a lot of games do this with light. You know, it might just you're only able to see at certain moments. So they can kind of control, you know, the imagery and what you can actually perceive, and it doesn't really like when a developer is in control like that, it can make for a really good horror game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because you're losing the one thing you can do.
Yeah,
you're just running and it's like a real life simulator. You're like, well, you better go find a closet. Like, okay, yeah. Nice. And that's what Amnesia was. It Amnesia or I always get two of those confused. Amnesia, Dark Descent, and then you go crazy in the dark. You have your candle, but you can't have the candle on because then the mutants will see you. And then, but if you're in the dark for too long, you'll go crazy.
Yeah,
you know, so like that whole game, that's another real. It's like fear simulator. Sit in the dark and go crazy, or have your candle out and die.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh man!
If you have not played Phasmophobia, I do think that would be one for you.
I have.
Get a group of people together. Yeah,
I do enjoy
it's
that
not
one.
My favorite thing in the world, but like, I do enjoy it,
dude. Something about Prox Chat. Like, if I want to, like, I could die playing Prox Chat games. Just people like you're online and they're like, ah! Yeah. You know, like it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh god, I need that on Switch too. I want to see the chat function. I want to know. You know, like I feel like we're on the horizon of some of these. We're going to integrate some of these funny webcam mechanics. You know, like
yeah, I'm with you. I think the Switch 2 can do it. I know that game recently came to the other consoles, and I don't know if it's on like PS4. You know, I know it's on PS5 that generation, but I don't. Yeah, so I don't know where that lands if the Switch 2 can reliably do that or not. But hopefully it can.
I hope so. Yeah.
I last little bit I want to touch on before we wrap this up today. I feel like the Switch, and especially the Switch 2, has very much changed the way I consume indies. You mentioned that some of your favorites are the ones that you can just pick up for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the handheld functionality of that is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I play stuff that I probably wouldn't otherwise. We went on a trip last year, me and Kali and a friend of hers, and I picked up a little game called Castaway, and it was like $5, and it's a Zelda-like that was probably 2 hours long max. And it has very much kind of like it's a 2D top-down game, but it has kind of like a Wind Waker vibe to it. And that is something that, I probably wouldn't sit down and play on my Xbox or on my PC. But, you know, in this Airbnb, sitting on the couch, like, sure, I'll do that for a couple of hours. And it was great. And it just has absolutely opened up a door to those games that I think I wouldn't have otherwise.
Oh. Yeah. No, this is very Link's Awakening.
It's not the deepest game in the world. It's like I said, it's very short. But it's fun, and there is some challenge stuff if you do want to, you know, really sink time into it.
Cool. No, yeah, that looks like fun. Yeah, I think that's kind of the magic with it. Something, you know, like this game right now, it looks like you can get that for $8. $8 for like, you know, a couple hours of entertainment. I don't know, a couple days maybe even.
Cheaper than a movie ticket.
Wow, actually, that's a really great way to put it.
Yeah, right. It has been for a long time, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, indies, they're taking over the world. That said, I want a real Nintendo Direct.
God,
come on,
for real. Oh my God,
just give us one. You know, throw some indies in there. Throw the ones we talked about not being here today. Throw those in there, but give me a release date for Metroid Prime. Good Lord. Every day I wake up and I'm waiting for it, you know?
Yes.
But I think that is going to do it for Podcasting with Power for this week. A shorter episode. Not as short as I thought it was going to go. There was a point where I was like, okay, we're, you know, but a little shorter, about 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people like that. I don't know if they don't like that. You should give us feedback. You should comment wherever you consume Podcasting with Power via Spotify, Apple, wherever else you get your podcasts, on YouTube or video on Spotify. That's my favorite. I love watching video podcasts on Spotify. You know, no ads if you have that plan. It's great. You can follow us up for updates on social media at Pod with Power, on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Threads. I think that's it. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye.